You can see that people are back to work. A lot of people wear masks, but largely, life has gone back to normal. In the earlier time, that the first 2 quarters of this year, we were checking, where we installed infrathermal to just check temperature, body temperature of every person come into the building. We don't even do that anymore because China now has almost zero virus, so it is not required anymore. And you can just see that working life has definitely gone back to normal. And I think that's very important to, once people feel safe, and it's not that hard to get back to how ordinary life is. I know outside of China, outside of Asia, people really wonder whether this is going to be a transformational change. Now, would people ever go back to work, the old ways? And people are so used to working online, and this is not the case in China, because you can see that there are people just everywhere.
I'd love to talk a little bit more about working from home and whether or not we see this hybrid approach. Because Xin, you're saying, and I remember on our planning call, people want to come back to work.
People want to go back to work, and I don't know how permanent is the change if people wanted to stay, in secondary cities, or moving to secondary cities, or stay outside of the city. Remember that just pre-COVID, there were times we were talking about how people wanted to work in the much more close environment, less square footage per capita, like the WeWorks, like the shared offices, and that was just the debate or the discussion that we had pre-COVID. And I don't see how a virus slow down this process of people want to work together, because that we believe that really encourages communication, encourages innovation. And young people just want to be together, to work together. So I don't see how a few months or even a year staying more at home would change that fundamental human desire to be together.
What are you seeing in terms of the tertiary or secondary, cities when it comes to Asia specifically?
Well, it hasn't really shown that much of a difference. Like secondary tier 2 cities in China have never been able to catch up with the tier 1 cities, and even with a massive population in China, and with the incredible new infrastructure in these tier 2 cities. But still, I think talents and companies are largely attracted to tier 1 cities. In America, that might be different, but in China, that has been the case. And I also wanted to add one point is what we have seen in China over this October Golden Week, a 1-week national holiday, is that there was so much pent-up demand in travel. Hotels are fully booked, and restaurants are fully booked, and resorts are fully booked, and you could not move on the bund in Shanghai without pushing people around. So there was such a pent-up demand because people were so frustrated, locked down for a few months, and they were desperate to get out. And I expect that's going to be the case for London and New York. As soon as the vaccine comes out, people feel free to travel, feel free to interact with people.